Alright, what's up guys? This is Taylor, and I'm doing the nightly video for the 17th of September. Couple of things we're watching in the room right now, one of course being the Tesla. Decent little push here last couple of weeks. I think we can call 330 into 430 a decent push. But yeah, good action here, and we had jumped in back off of the 2-day squeeze. Got long back around 340, caught the initial pop, and then we booked a profit and rolled it. And we rolled it into the 420, 430 call debit spread for January. Now, granted, had I done a, 420, 430 call debit for maybe this Friday, could have been a little bit more exciting. But yeah, we, I think for a lot of things in the market right now, you look at a Google, you look at a Meta, a Tesla, etc. You've got a lot of good-looking charts. You can even look at the QQQ. A lot of things look pretty good. That being said, if we do get more of a short-term pullback here at any point, unless things change in a big fashion, QQQ back to 580-ish, things kind of pull back to their daily or their weekly 21 EMA, I think in the Q4 can make for a good buying opportunity. So Tesla is no exception to the rule there. And yeah, I think when you look at that weekly squeeze, granted, you're a little overbought here in the short term, but I do think into the end of the year, there should be a path here off that weekly squeeze, at least back in the $500. Now, if they can get back in the 500, then I think from there things will get a little bit more interesting. But unlike it, we have the 420, 430 call debit for the January expiration. And yeah, any pullback into 400, 380, I would jump in and buy a little bit more. From that, we can jump over here to Amazon. If you think of the Google move here last couple of weeks, I think a big part of that, or the entire part of that, was the Google monthly squeeze. We got the buy trigger back here around 175, 180. Kicks off the 21 EMA, the breakout, off that monthly squeeze, a decent 35, 45% rally. Point being, a monthly squeeze can pack a punch. So for Amazon here, again, taking more of that bigger picture, call it Q4 point of view, I gotta like that for a breakout. Big 3 score of 15, they got the structure, the trend. I like it up here at 230. If the market pulls back for a couple of weeks, I like it all the way down to about 200. There's also a 3-day squeeze, a 2-day squeeze, a daily, and a 4-hour. Again, think back to Google. Google, I think, had a monthly, a weekly, and a 4-hour. So those bigger multi-time frame squeeze setups on these bigger market-leading names, they can give you some pretty good stuff. So for Amazon, looking for a move into... Right now, the monthly squeeze target's closer to 270. We'll call that the target for now. And then the third one here would be NVIDIA. Now, interestingly enough for NVIDIA, I don't love it off of the daily time frame. I don't love it on the hourly, the 30. Where I do like it would be the weekly. Right, you flush, you bottom, and ever since your bottom back here around $90, you haven't really had a back test of the rising weekly 21 EMA. Right, your healthy back and forth ebb and flow, reversion to the mean. We haven't gotten that quite yet, and my thinking would be if they pull it back into, say, maybe a better way to look at it, any good buy trigger above that 160, right, could be a buy trigger off of your 2-day squeeze, could be a buy trigger off of the daily squeeze, whatever you might deem to be a buy trigger. If you can get that above the rising weekly 21, I do think it can make for a good buy. Now, my preference is they chop it for a bit, they work it back maybe a little bit lower. I would love a brand new weekly squeeze. Give me a brand new weekly squeeze on NVIDIA, combine that with your 2-day squeeze and your daily squeeze. That can make for a great trade. Then you factor in the SMH itself here. And again, for a Q4 pick, I think this is one of the, by far one of your better looking monthly charts. Big squeeze, good structure, got the buy trigger. And I think in time, an eventual path into 350-ish. You could look at a name like a Qualcomm. That has a monthly squeeze. You have one here on Lam Research. You've got one on Micron, and then one that I bought last week for the March expiration is AMD. For AMD, I'm long the 200 call for March. Thinking there being give it plenty of time, give it through October, the winter, into next year. If they can really break out the SMH, the squeeze here on AMD should eventually break long. And I think from there you call for a path into 225-ish, 250. Given that until March, but alright guys, long NVIDIA, long Amazon, patiently looking for a long in NVIDIA. In my own account, I got a little AMD, and yeah, I think, let's take a quick look here at the rankings on the dashboard. And post FOMC, everything's in pretty good shape here. Market is bullish. You've got a good score on the Dow Jones, good QQQ. Good scores in the financials, communications, the XLY, the Cathie Wood ETF. Energy getting better. You got the semis, gold, big tech, Bitcoin, and then off the Big 10 basket, it'd be Tesla, TSM, followed by Meta, Apple, Google, Netflix, Broadcom, Amazon, Microsoft, and then the odd man out here with a negative score is NVIDIA. But alright, y'all, thank you for watching. Hope you found it helpful. Keep an eye on the NVIDIA, SMH, Amazon, and Tesla ideas, and we'll talk to y'all in the next one. Adios.